page. Today we have one of the experienced migration consultant, migration agent, Navjot from McCollin Street, Elizabeth branch, and I myself, one of the education consultant here at Aussizz Group. Today we are going to be covering IT occupation and the PR pathways for students who are proceeding with their degrees in IT, information technology. So either you're doing a bachelor's degree or your master's degree or even a diploma. So what are the or what will be the PR pathways that will be covered by Navjot? If you have any questions, queries, feel free to get in touch. You can message us throughout the live session and we'll make sure that we answer as many questions as possible in the given time that we have. As for the education queries that you might have regarding which course you should be studying, where you should be studying, you can simply ask those questions as well. So I'll ask Navjot to talk about the courses that the IT has to offer. Yes, Navjot.
Yes, thank you, Fahad. So thank you for that introduction.
No problem.
Yes, I am a migration agent. I've been with Aussizz for over 3 years now. I've been practicing this for over 6 years. So the agenda for today is just to speak about IT occupations, what would be the PR pathways, and just to kind of give you a clear idea about what are the courses which are available and what are the next steps. Maybe you're finishing your study, maybe you're just starting to think about doing IT courses. So this will give you an idea about what your migration pathway would look like. Of course, as Fahad said, if you do have any questions about your particular case, you can drop us a message down below and we'll be able to help you there. So to get started, Fahad, I'm going to ask you first. So in terms of someone, let's say, who wants to do diploma or advanced diploma related courses in IT maybe, so what would the options would be, and
So there's no secret when it comes to the diploma level study, especially within the IT sector.
Yep.
There's this advanced diploma of information technology, which obviously covers the telecommunication network engineering. It's mainly a 2 years diploma that international students can study here in Australia, and there are several colleges and institutes which are offering this particular program. It's quite affordable for international students as well, and obviously it's on the PR list, which obviously you'll know better than me on that. The fees are very reasonable. The best part is that the curriculum or the courses which are being covered within this program are very friendly. When I say friendly, I mean that it's easy to understand for anyone, even if you don't have a IT background.
Yeah.
So that's the best part with this one. So in terms of the PR points or the eligibility criteria, can you cover on that sector?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. In terms of the advanced diploma of IT, if you're studying this course, you'll be going more towards the telecommunications network engineer. With this sort of course, you can apply for a 485 initially for a graduate work stream, given that you have met your Australian study requirement. Once you finish your study, you'll have to get a skill assessment through Engineers Australia. Then you can apply for your 485 visa, right? Once you have applied for it, these occupations come under medium to long-term list as well as short-term list, so you need to be very careful. But in terms of medium to long-term list, you can apply for, as I said, the 485 visa. But again, 189, 190 visas are also available for you. Now, in terms of once you've completed the course, normally if you're working in the occupation, you will be able to meet the state requirements. Now, Fahad, normally what happens is when people are finishing courses, they're trying to target either 189 or 190. Sure. Again, with 189, it's more like first in, first out. The more points you have, the better it is. With 190 state sponsorship visas, all the states may have their own criteria. Sure. Now, for example, someone who is in Victoria who have finished this course, they will have an occupation, but at the same time, they will need to show income if they're working in a skill level 1 to 3.
Okay.
If they're working skill level 1 to 3, they can claim income and having enough points. Normally with 190s, we would say that you require minimum 80, 85 points.
Navjot, quick query. When you say skill level 1 to 3,
Yeah.
would you mind telling to our audience what exactly do you mean with skill level 1 to 3?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will probably come, it will be applicable to most of Victorian applicants.
Okay.
So basically, skill level 1 to 3 is something which is as per our ANSCO codes, as per our ABS. There's an ABS website that you can look at. But it's mainly talking about the ANSCO, the skill level for particular occupation. Normally, a thumb rule, just to kind of give you an example, if someone has an occupation where you require either a bachelor's or a master's level course, that would be a skill level 1 occupation. If it's something related to diploma, advanced diploma, that may be skill level 2, or there could be certificate level courses which would lead to skill level 3. On top of my head, I can think, for example, a chef would be a skill level 2.
Okay.
A cook may be a skill level 3. For more information in terms of which occupation it exactly, like your work, where it falls under, we do have a product named Aussizz. So I'm sure you can see underneath the banner. So it's called Aussizz. You can download that app, and it will give you a lot of information about the ANSCO codes, the skill level, and also your duties and responsibilities as well. So mainly what Victoria government looks at is, okay, you have an occupation, for example, would be a network engineer. Maybe you've done bachelor's of network and system engineer, that networking degree. And your main occupation is into network engineer, but you could be working in another part of it, maybe as a network planner.
Okay.
Or maybe working as a ICT support, right? So these will kind of cover the skill level 2 or skill level 3 part.
Okay.
Right. So it's good to check your duties and responsibilities, but again, I would say download our Aussizz app. You will get a lot of information about where your occupation stands, whether it's skill level 1, 2, or 3. And of course, you can always contact us. We can give you more idea about where you stand, right?
Yeah, it's always good to have a one-on-one consultation, because you get your own personalized information based on your circumstances, like where do you stand, what exactly, what kind of a help you need from the migration team. So it's always good to, get in touch with the registered migration agent to, sort your queries and get professional help for that reason. I believe moving on from advanced diploma, what would be the next step, or what would be the other option? So let's just go and do a bit of a research or dig into the bachelor's level. So when we talk about bachelor's degree, in Australia alone, there are several universities, several colleges, and many institutes which are offering bachelor level IT related degrees. So either it be cybersecurity, information technology, data analytics, business analytics, even business informatics, artificial intelligence. So a lot of the time students have this query like, what should I be studying? So I always suggest this to students that, it's always a good idea to, when you go on a particular website of any university, have a look on the curriculum, have a look on what that particular degree is offering or what that university is offering. Like there are several colleges which have the curriculum uploaded on their website, so that will give you a bit more information, like what the degree will be covering throughout the 3 years program, what will be taught in those 3 years, because a lot of students doesn't have IT background. They are mainly concerned that, what if I would be able to continue with this one, or how I'm gonna pass these courses. So always do a bit of a research, because not every degree requires coding or technical skills. But obviously it will be a mix of those kind of things. And there are several colleges, as I mentioned, that they are pretty easy when it comes to grading and all, but obviously you'll have to study for that. So from the PR perspective,
I think I will just add on to that as well. That's a really good point. When you're researching these sort of courses, you need to understand what will be taught, and you hit that mark where you need to look at what they're teaching, curriculum of it. But also another part or another important factor is that you also need to look at career perspectives as well, right? So if you're studying, for example, bachelor's of networking or bachelor's of information technology, majoring in networking, or any other part of it, you need to look at what are the career growth or where your career will take you from that particular degree.
True.
In terms of coding, some degrees of course will have coding, some degrees may or may not have it, but again, if you're doing a bachelor's level course, it will still have those core component
They will
courses.
definitely cover those things, yes.
Yeah, so you still need to have a general idea about what it looks like, but your major may be completely different. So that is something which is really important when you're initially looking at what you need to study. I am aware that with the information systems, you may not have a very heavy content in terms of like networking or coding or that part of it. Not saying that they will not cover it, but it will still be there. They will still teach you about it, but the primary focus will be on the information systems or the business analytics sort of a subjects or sort of the role. Now, when you have completed a bachelor's degree, you normally would be eligible for a 2 years 485 visa, which is a post-study work stream. Now, I'm sure everyone would be aware that department has made a list of courses or crack course codes. So if you're studying from a particular university provider, you may be able to get a extension of TR as well. Sure. So where you would be getting 2 years, now you may be eligible for 4 years of TR. Now, that 4 years of TR is very important. I would say that's your primary, or that's your opportunity to gain that experience, to be working and trying out things. Initially, look, not everyone will have that dream job at the start as well. You may need to start from bottom, and then you need to make your you need to work it up. But I think that 2 to 4 years of sort of 485 visa duration gives you that opportunity to learn those skills and knowledge, get that knowledge to be able to work at a much higher role.
And another important point which I would like to clarify from your end while we are doing this live show, there are specific regional areas in every state. If you go and study in those regional area, either you'll be eligible for an additional 1 year on top of 4 years, and then there are specific for the areas. If you study in those areas, you will be eligible for additional 1 year. So that will be overall 6 years of TR. If you're studying Bachelor of IT or Bachelor of any other specific field which is on that list.
So that's a really good point, Fahad. I would say when you're applying for 485, if you're studying in a regional area, if you want a regional extension, that will also be available for you. The only important factor that I would like to outline there would be if you're studying in a regional area, it will depend on which designated area that you are studying in. So the department has divided into 2 different areas. One would be where there's major town centers, and one would be where is regional, right? So regional one, normal town centers one, category 1, that will give you 1 year of extension, and the other one will give you 2 years of extension on top of the 485 extension that you will be getting as well. Now, the only important factor there is that if you want to take the regional option, extended TR, you must be studying and working throughout your whole journey in Australia in that particular regional area only.
Okay, so it has to be in that particular region only.
So
you not only have to show that you're living there and studying there, but you have to show that you're working in that regional area as well.
Throughout your whole journey, right? So let's say, for example, you have studied, bachelor's of IT in a regional area.
Let's just say, talk about Geelong, for example.
Let's talk about Deakin Geelong, for example. You've done your bachelor's degree from there, and now you have been studying there, you have been living there, you have been working there, right? Now you are eligible for that extended TR, of course. You get that initial, let's say, for example, 4 years of TR. Now, if you want to take the opportunity for a regional extension, you must have been living, studying and working throughout your initial student visa period, and throughout your next 485 visa period as well, for you to get
Okay.
that opportunity for the regional one.
Okay.
So throughout your whole Australia journey, you will be staying in
So
regional area.
let's just elaborate on this a little bit. So let's say for example, I am doing my Bachelor of IT from Deakin Geelong, right? I was working while I was studying part time, right? I got my 485 and I'm still working in the same area. Now to get that extended 1 year on top of 4 years,
Yeah.
does that work which I'm doing has to be relevant to my field or could be any field?
No, it doesn't have to be in your field. It
Okay.
can be, as long as the working is in regional, you would be eligible for it. So
Okay.
there is no requirement for getting an extended TR for you to be working in your nominated occupation.
Makes
So
sense.
that's only to focusing on regional area, just to kind of increase the regional population, as I would say, right?
So
Yeah.
guys, keeping this point, it's really very important for students. If you are good with studies, if you are really putting a lot of amount of time and your effort into your studies, so the chances of getting hired in the IT sector, regardless wherever you have studied from, would be really very high. And with this 5 years or 4 years TR, let's just say that you get a professional job within your relevant field, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if you work in the relevant field for 1 year, you get additional 5 points,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And obviously, in those 4 years that you're getting as a TR, if you end up working for the same company or if any company in the same field, you get additional 10 points if you work for 3 years.
3 years, that's right.
So that's a very good, I mean, could be your best strategy to, if you put on a lot of effort on your studies and if you really study hard, then I believe a lot of students can, actually avail a lot of extra points.
Yeah.
Because they will be getting 5 extra points for studying in those regional areas anyways.
That's right, that's right. So as I said, so once you of course complete your study, next pathway, if you want to settle in Australia, of course there are options for you to apply for general skilled migration and employer sponsorships as well. Now of course both the visas categories are completely different in terms of the working after study. Even if you're doing, let's say, you've studied in regional, you get Australian study points, you get regional points, and you started working in as well. It could be only 20 hours per week as well. That will also satisfy that 1 year of post qualification experience to get those 5 points. And if you're working, let's say, for 3 years, then you will get extra 5 points as well. So that will make it 10. So this is that opportunity for you to be there and gain as many points as you can. So when you're ready to apply for your general skilled migration, you are already coming at a higher point value, right? One thing where I would like to talk about is when we're talking about 20 hours per week, that is only applicable for general skilled migration. In terms of employer sponsorship pathways, for employer sponsorships for a temporary TSS 482 visa, you require 2 years of full-time experience. Normally, it can be covered during your study as well to a certain extent, compared to 186 direct entry, which would be a permanent visa that requires 3 years of full-time experience post your qualification.
Makes sense.
Whether or not you're living in regional or not, that won't really matter. As long as you have full-time 3 years of experience post qualification, you would be eligible for that. And now this is where these new instrument or new extended TRs play a very important role, right? When you're choosing the right study where it gives you extra 2 years or 3 years of extended TR, that gives you that right opportunity to get that experience, maybe increase your points as high as you can, and gives you that 3 to 5 years of sort of a good period where you may be eligible for general skilled migration or employer sponsorships, sure, right? So yeah, if this is something that you have in mind, of course, people should take the opportunity to work, go into the universities and get that proper qualification and get that extended TR to smooth out your PR process. Unless otherwise you may be, let's say you only have 2 years of TR, you still need to get your experience and you may not have enough time for you to get that enough points, or maybe that employer sponsorship pathways, you may not have enough TR left for you to be able to get those employment duration for you to be eligible.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So now moving further, let's just talk about or cover master's degree. So when we talk about masters in information technology or masters in IT, the specializations or the degrees are pretty much the same. Like, you have bachelor's in cybersecurity, you have master's in cybersecurity, you have bachelor's in information technology, same as with masters of information technology. The universities would be same, however not many or every colleges would be offering the master's level degree, so you're kind of a limited when it comes to doing a master's level degree, but still the options would be very vague. So there's one thing, Navjot, that I always tell my students that since you're talking about master's degree, it's always good to go for those occupations or those majors in which not every other student is going for at the moment. Let's just talk about cybersecurity, because at the moment majority of the student wants to do a specialization in cybersecurity, mainly because of the fact that they will have the the assessment for ICT specialist or security specialist.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of going for those, I would say have a look on data science or artificial intelligence. Maybe have a look on the Internet of Things degree, which is being offered by very limited universities and top tier universities, because obviously the quality of the education or the teaching that has to be offered by these universities would be compared to none. So make sure that whatever master's level degree that you are going for, it's something that you're really passionate about, because you're not only investing your time, you're investing your money in that as well. And regardless you go for the PR or not, you have to make your career out of those occupation. It's the career that comes first, and then you talk about or you think about the PR later on. So it's really very important that you do your research on your own. Obviously if you need a little help from professional education consultant in deciding or making up your mind, like which one has a better career path, this is where the education team or the education consultant come into play. Then if your aim or agenda is to look for the PR, then this is where the migration team or migration agent comes into play. So Navjot, from your perspective, if one student or any student is considering of doing master's degree in IT, what occupations or what is the career path, or sorry, the PR path for master students in IT?
Yeah, I think you touched the really important part where I tell my clients as well that think about this way, that PR is something separate.
True.
Of course, you're investing a lot of time, you're investing a lot of money in a. First thing you need to look at is where that career, like where's your career going, right? Initially, as we started, you need to look at the curriculum, you need to look at your career pathways, what are the potentials, like once you finish a course, where is it leading you? So PR and career, they should be looked into like hand in hand. If someone wants to do a course for the purposes of PR but may not have that sort of a motivation or dedication towards studying a master's level course, then that might not be the right sort of a thing to do, to be honest with you. Because masters, they're more specialized. They're taught in a way that you are at a master level course, you are not studying an undergraduate course anymore. True. It's a post-graduation.
You won't be spoon-fed.
That's right. And you would require a lot of time, a lot of motivation, a lot of dedication towards these courses, and they will be very content heavy as well. So when you're choosing these courses, of course, PR will come if you're doing the right thing. You're studying, you are working, and you're able to kind of show your potential by being dedicated towards a particular career, for example. Now, a lot of people have different ideas where they want to choose, okay, which pathways that you need to choose. Of course, there's so many other things. IT is very vast. Every day something new is coming up, with artificial intelligence and everything. So this is where a important factor comes in, about your own research as well. So of course your own interest would align with what are the future pathways or future growth, not talking about necessarily PR perspective, but overall demand factor, because the demand will push the PR pathway, right? So if something is in demand, for example, let's talk about cybersecurity, right? Now, cybersecurity is one of the biggest things out there in IT.
Definitely.
Everyone needs to have a secure network. We can talk about big banks. We can talk about any particular industry. Their security needs to be very good. We can talk about even defense. So all these things
We can even talk
play.
about the hospitality industry itself.
Exactly, exactly. So security would be one of those sort of occupations where it is in demand, and this is where you need to do your research. That if you're studying cybersecurity, what are the next 5 years? What are the next 10 years? Where is this course leading you in? Where is your career going? If the particular occupation or the qualification is in demand, of course the PR will come with it. So they all go hand in hand. But yeah, that's a really good point that you raised.
And
So
another important point that I would like to raise over here is, if you study well, if you are clear on the concepts which are being taught, if you know what's being taught, and if you end up getting your foot in the door by securing a job in your relevant field, then even if you're not meeting the PR points or whatever the points you will be needing, the chances of getting sponsored by your employer would be higher
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of students who actually ended up getting sponsored by their employer.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really important. Again, yeah, if you study well, you'll be able to get that sort of an experience, and if experience is there, you will be able to get that employer sponsorships. If the occupation is in demand and you have that sort of skills and knowledge, of course you would be looked after by your employers, and of course they'll be looked after by state governments or federal governments as well. So yeah, once, of course, let's just quickly talk about the masters. So masters, when you've completed a particular course, you may get 3 years to 5 years of post-study work visa, depending on where you have studied, whether or not it comes into the cracos. And then that same scenario will apply if you've studied bachelor's or master's. You do 1 year of post-qualification experience minimum, where you can get a skill assessment from ACS. ACS is the assessing authority for all IT occupations. Once you get your your assessment done, that's when you start moving towards your PR pathway. That's where you start getting those points and start getting that valuable experience. So you are contributing to Australian economy, contributing to the shortages about that particular skills. Yeah, so that's about it. I think we can also touch some other occupations as well, which may not be into the medium to long term list. You may be already working in that particular occupation, for example, a web developer, software tester. So these occupations may not be in the medium to long term list, but they are in short term list, which basically means you may not be eligible for a TR, but you may already have a particular degree, you may already have a TR, and you are working, so you can apply for state sponsorships or even employer sponsorships, temporary pathways. So the amount of areas where an IT person can go is very vague. It really depends on what your duties and responsibilities are, where area, like which area you're working into. Could be in AI, could be in networking, could be cybersecurity. So it really depends on which area you're at, and from there onwards you can of course speak to us about a particular pathway. And if you're thinking to study these courses, then of course you can speak to our education consultant. He'll be able to give you that proper guidance about, okay, this is the course, this is how much it is, and this is how long it will take, and get that sort of information out there, right? So Fahad, would there be anything else that you would like to add, and then we can take some questions?
I think just one last thing that I would like to add from my end, that just because a lot of students are going for specific degrees, there are few degrees which are my personal favorites, and if I had to go back and study something within the IT sector, then these few degrees or these few occupations I would definitely be considering. That would be blockchain. So there are few universities here in Australia which are offering masters in blockchain, because obviously this is one of the future. Apart from that, AI definitely, and third, last but not the least, which I believe is something really very interesting for me and a lot of students who are really passionate about studying, is fintech technology. So a combination of finance and technology is definitely a go-go for any student who have a bit of a financial background or wants to merge two, finance and IT, then that's definitely you should be looking at. Obviously, these might not lead to the PR or may lead to the PR. That's something secondary. But if you're a genuine student and want to study something which will make your career, then definitely go for consider these degrees.
And I agree to that because recently, I wouldn't say recently, but a while ago, department has brought a global talent sort of a pathway, right? So that all focused on getting those particular sectors, getting those people from those particular sectors to come into Australian economy to be able to gain that competitive edge, I would say. From other people. So that all included, sectors from fintech, artificial intelligence and everything. So as I said, these things will stay in demand, and it's very important for you to choose the right pathway. That may not be something which everyone may already be doing. You may want to do, as Fahad said, a particular niche, maybe blockchain, maybe AI. So these things are in demand in Australia, and it's highly encouraged for applicants or students to study these courses, gain that valuable skill and knowledge, so they can contribute positively to Australia, right?
Perfect.
So thank you guys. That's all from us for today. We will take some questions if we have, all good. So thank you so much for joining, guys. Of course, you can always contact us about anything. If you require a particular information about your own goal, we can help you get there. Education, Fahad, you can get our contact details there. We will give you our contact details as well. And again, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, guys. Hope to see you all, or any students here in Australia who are willing to come or who are already here. If you need any help regarding getting admission or securing your seats for any degree,